Do you ever feel like life is sometimes running just a little bit slow? Like maybe something isn't working quite right for you? Just like on our phone or computer, sometimes it's not the hardware that's the problem. Sometimes it's the software. And in the case of ourselves, that software, that operating system is our value system. And updating our value system can completely transform our lives. I'm Dr. Alan Johnson, and on this channel, I talk about the mind, well-being, productivity, and change for thinkers, makers, and everyone in between. Just like the operating system on your phone or computer manages all the functions on your device, your personal value system is your own internal operating system that guides your decisions, behaviors, and ultimately the course of your whole life. So when your operating system is outdated, things start to lag, apps begin to crash, and you might feel a little bit stuck. Similarly, when your value system is outdated, you may find yourself in patterns that no longer serve you, feeling unfulfilled or lost. Updates to the operating system on our devices usually involves something like new security features, optimizing performance, and sometimes even introducing new functionalities or new emojis that we get excited about. And the same applies to updating your value system, your own personal operating system. It's about evolving and optimizing how you live your life. A value system is a set of beliefs, principles, and standards that guide your behavior and decision-making. It's like that internal compass that helps you to navigate life, shaping what you consider to be important or meaningful or worthy of your time and energy. Because our value systems influence everything from our relationships to our career choices to how we handle conflict and perhaps most importantly, how we view ourselves. Our core values are deeply held beliefs that guide our actions and decisions. They're our operating system. And they're the principles that we turn to when we're faced with difficult choices and are central to our identity. Things such as integrity or honesty, compassion, loyalty, responsibility. These might all be core values within our own internal operating system. These values are generally pretty stable at any point in our life and form a foundation of our character, influencing how we interact with others and how we approach the challenges that we encounter. Personal growth, then, involves continuously evaluating these values and evolving this value system to more closely align with our true selves and our life goals. In the same way that an old operating system on our phone might have worked perfectly well 10 years ago, it continues to require updates, improvements, and changes as the world continues to evolve. Our value systems tend to begin to take shape early in our life, influenced by family, culture, religion, and all of the social influences around us. And over time, personal experiences, our education, and our interactions with other people further shape and solidify these values, forming a more complex value system that really dictates how we see the world and how we see ourselves. And why it's so important to continuously reflect on our value systems and to update that operating system when we need to is that sometimes values that served us well in the past no longer serve us in the present. Or, and this may seem surprising, things that do seem like incredibly important values, such as independence or togetherness, perhaps these have evolved into ways that are counterintuitively limiting to us. Let's look at a few examples of that. So many people value success and productivity and growth and change, and believe that these are the key to happiness and fulfillment. And in itself, valuing growth and change and improvement seems really fantastic, right? And it's something that we should all be striving toward. However, sometimes our value system can evolve in such a way that we begin to overvalue that, or we begin to over-identify with that value, leading to burnout, chronic stress, and a sense that we are never quite good enough. Another example of this is the value of independence. So, of course, we want to value our independence and foster independence, and it symbolizes strength and self-sufficiency. But when we over-identify with independence, it can lead to isolation, a lack of meaningful connections, and something that I see a lot is an inability to ask for help when needed. And when people value harmony in the spaces around them, it can lead to people-pleasing behaviors where people prioritize others' needs and desires at the expense of their own well-being. Now, I'm not saying that any of these values are intrinsically bad, but what I'm saying is that anything in excess can become detrimental to us. So it's important that we are regularly looking at and reflecting on our value system. And just like we have to update the operating system on our devices every once in a while, we sometimes need to update our own operating system as well. Over-identifying with any value can lead to rigidity and can make it difficult for us to adapt to new situations or to see any other types of perspectives. And holding on to outdated values can create internal conflicts that ultimately limit our potential and can keep us from living authentically. Because just in the same way that a device with an old operating system can't run the latest apps, a person with an outdated value system may struggle to adapt to new opportunities and new challenges in the world around them. So by consciously updating our value system, we create a stable foundation that is aligned with who we are today, not just who we were years ago. So an exercise you can try now, and it's something that you can work on over the coming week, is create a list of your top 10 values, those things that really guide your life. Perhaps it is education or charity or kindness or being a good parent or diligence or responsibility, whatever it may be. Make that list of the top 10 things that you value most and the values that you try to live up to. And next to each of these, spend a little bit of time reflecting on whether living up to this value is helping you or hindering you, or maybe a little bit in between. And I would encourage you to really probe this a little bit and really ask yourself what role this particular value does have in your life. And then over the coming week, I want you to consciously make decisions that reflect the values that you need to live now. When you're faced with a particular challenge, a particular question or dilemma, take that brief pause. It will take merely a few moments and ask yourself, what does my value system suggest the right course of action is here? Understanding, reflecting on, and regularly updating your value system is so important. Because sometimes it's not just the hardware that's slowing things down, sometimes it's the software as well. And our value system is that metaphoric operating system that works behind the scenes through all of our waking hours and guides and directs and shapes the course of our journey through life. So if we're at a moment in our life where things seem to be lagging or running a bit slow, or the apps seem to be crashing, then maybe that is the time to reflect on our value system and to get rid and to update and to revise as necessary. I hope that you will like this video and follow this channel, because there's a lot more videos in the weeks and months ahead exploring these ideas. And maybe this video is even something that you'd like to share with someone that you know who you think could benefit from it. So I think that we all need to give ourselves the time to reflect on our value system, because we so rarely do. And we can allow ourselves the freedom to recognize that what we might have valued 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, or last week might not be exactly what we value today.